hurts. What are we gonna do, people? What's gonna happen to us now? I had enough of this. The system is rigged.
The subway chokehold case and the reaction to the acquittal of Daniel Penny is what's trending in true crime. A Manhattan jury clearing Penny of criminally negligent homicide in the death of 30-year-old Jordan Neely. Jurors, you may recall, were deadlocked last week on the original top count of manslaughter, which was eventually dismissed. So on the heels of his acquittal, Penny was seen out with his attorney celebrating the result of the case. The Marine also spoke with Fox News in his first one-on-one interview since the verdict was announced and had this to say about the hold that he placed on Neely.
Now where I'm on the ground with him, I'm on my back in a very vulnerable position. If I just would have let go, now he turns.
Why is that a vulnerable position?
Well, if I just let him go, I'm on my back now. He can just turn around and start doing what he said to me. So
Killing,
hurting.
So we're asking the question, do you believe that Daniel Penny felt vulnerable in that situation on the subway? Let's bring in our power panel now and talk about it. Still with me, criminal defense and civil rights attorney Casey Early, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Franz Borchardt, and want to welcome in retired lieutenant. He was a commanding officer of the Nassau County Police K-9 unit. He's a K-9 expert now and the owner of Houndstown USA, Mike Gould. All right, let's talk a little bit about the vulnerability. So him being afraid, him being vulnerable, perhaps is something people watching this case haven't really given much thought to. Who knows? Lieutenant Gould, I'd like to start with you. Your thoughts, please.
Sure. Good morning, Julie. Yeah, so this is, as I said before, this is a Rorschach test. It depends on what side of this situation you're under. Obviously, on all these stories we're covering, the victims' families are affected tremendously. I have a unique perspective on riding the New York City subway. For over half a century, as a little boy, as a teenager, as an adult, and as a police officer, I've ridden the New York City subway system. And I can tell you, when you're trapped on a New York, back in the day, they used to stop in between stations, the lights would go out, and you're literally trapped in a train car with 50, 60, 70 other passengers. So it's a very unique thing. But so when mental illness or criminal activity collide together as a mammalian behavior is fight or flight. In these cases, you can't flee. So we have not as a society addressed mental illness. In the 80s, crime was rampant. There was Bernard Goetz, for those of you old enough to remember, he was a vigilante that shot 4 teenagers on the subway. So this is just the pendulum swinging, the same thing. I've never seen this time where mental illness, we kind of literally, this is a metaphor, we turn the other way. If you're walking down the streets of New York City, Atlanta, and you see somebody obviously emotionally disturbed, we cross the street. We fight or flee. In this case, there were no choices for this person, in my opinion. Sad, tragic. This wasn't his intention. He was doing the right things. He didn't go out looking for this confrontation, in my opinion.
Lieutenant, really appreciate that insight as a lifelong New Yorker and someone, as you said, who's ridden the subway for literally all your life. This is really great perspective that you're sharing. Thank you for that. So I want to pose the same question to Casey and Franz, the vulnerability. So looking at things from Daniel Penny's perspective, that interview with Fox News. Casey, to you next, please. Your thoughts on his comments.
Yes, I just have to disagree because it shifted once the train stopped, once other people was around assisting with the hold down. Even if he would have loosened up his grip, those other people were standing there ready to protect. So I struggle with agreeing with that perspective, but of course I do respect the juror's verdict. And to go to the celebration at the bar, listen, you're innocent until proven guilty. He was not proven guilty by a jury of his peers. And I myself, even after a not guilty verdict, my client immediately wanted to go out, and I have in the past. So I don't see anything wrong with that because he has now been found not guilty by a jury of his peers. But my condolences are still with the family of Jordan Neely, and I pray that his father continues to heal from this untimely loss.
Oh, beautifully said, Casey. Yes, certainly our hearts go out to him. This is a horrible tragedy. It really is tragic, and now we've seen that the jury has decided it's not criminal. Whether their civil liability remains to be seen, right? We know that the family's in great hands with attorney Dante Mills, and so we'll see what happens with the family as they progress. Franz, to you on the vulnerability, the perspective of Daniel Penny, what he said in that Fox News interview really has a lot of people talking this morning. Your thoughts on it, please.
So I don't want to play lawyer here, but vulnerability is a term of art. And in this sense, he's a Marine. And by the way, for all of my Marines out there, once a Marine, always a Marine. So his lens of seeing the world is different than Franz Borchardt's lens of seeing the world. Not only am I not a Marine, I have not been trained in combat. I'm a softie, Julie. I'm a softie. And I've never ridden a subway in that situation before. So is he vulnerable in the sense that he could see a harm that maybe the normal citizen might not see? Well, maybe. Is he vulnerable in the sense that he was the only one that did anything about what was going on? Did he invite the situation? I can see both sides, and I agree. My heart goes out to this family who has to sit there and scratch their heads and say, how did we get there? But I can also see the defendant's side. Now, let me say this. I think civil liability is a reality for Mr. Penny and for the city. I think that's something that is going to be coming down the pipeline. The city probably more so because it has the deep pocket. But I think this is it is such an interesting set of facts. And now we have another murder case in the same city, totally different, but it's going to be the same jury pool. So, I mean, it's just a very, very interesting set of facts. And I don't know if I can say that he wasn't vulnerable, but what I can say is he gets to view it from the lens of his training experience and what is reasonable to him based on that.
Franz, that's great perspective. That's how we all see the world, right? Based on our experiences, not other people's. So you've all made excellent points here on that. I want to show you more of the interview. Again, this is with Fox News, Daniel Penny talking about what would have happened that day if he didn't do what he did on the subway.
The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed.
Everybody's got an opinion, right? And some people can be really nasty about it, and wanting someone like him to know what their opinion is. Lieutenant Gould, I want to go back to you, please. When we think about the court of public opinion, how concerned do you think this Marine, Daniel Penny, should be?
Well, he's concerned. Look, his life is affected. And when you take somebody's life, accidentally or intentionally or recklessly, it'll affect you for the rest of your life. If it's involved in a car accident, you accidentally kill somebody. So his life is affected. There's no doubt about it. I just feel that, and I get it. I blame society. I don't blame him or the victim. I blame society for always turning our backs on the obvious, whether it's gun control, we talk about it, we know about mental illness, we know untreated mental illness, we know violence when we see it. But when you're trapped on a New York City subway, I'm 6 foot, 210 pounds, and I've been in struggles with both criminals and violently mentally ill, schizophrenic people that we're just trying to subdue them. We're not intentionally going to hurt them. So, look, this is a societal problem, and my heart does go out. And I agree with both the guests here. He wasn't acting as a Marine. He was a citizen who ended up on the floor in a matter of seconds on a New York City subway station, trying to he just reacted. Fight or flight. It was a mammalian behavior, wrong maybe on many levels, but there was I didn't see any alternatives, nor did the jury. It's viewed from his perception at the moment. If that's the use of force, it has to be viewed from his perception in the moment before, during, and after. So yeah, I get it. It's aggravating because we're not going to, I'm going to walk down New York City streets tomorrow and next day, and there's going to be all kinds of great celebrations in Times Square, but there's also going to be elements of criminal activity and mental illness. We're going to be surrounded by it, and it's society not taking care of this situation.
Yes, Lieutenant, what you're saying, it's really hit home with me this morning. I keep thinking how right you are. How many times can we all think about walking down the street and seeing somebody who's obviously struggling mentally, and then, you know, keeping a distance because we're afraid of getting hurt or getting involved or anything like that. So very important, poignant point that you're making here this morning on this case. That's a heavy one. It's a heavy one. Nobody wanted to see Jordan Neely lose his life, and our hearts go out to his family. And Daniel Penny is going to continue on with his life, and we'll see what happens as that civil case continues. I've got to say goodbye and a big thank you to Lieutenant Mike Gould and attorney Casey Early for their time and expertise this morning. Always love having you too. See you soon.